Right, so what is commercial product photography? How much do product photographers charge? And what is the scope of product photography? Let's talk about all of this, followed by sharing my some of the best photos with behind the scenes and a live Q&A. Hi, good morning guys. So we'll just wait for a minute and allow more people to join in. And in the meantime, guys, I would love to know where you're joining from. If you can type it in the comments. Good morning, good morning. Yeah. Gurgaon, okay. Hyderabad, nice. Dubai, awesome. Gurgaon, Delhi, Mumbai. Good to see you guys. Kolkata, wow. Assam. Fantastic. Guys, we'll just wait for another 20 seconds or so. And then we'll start the session. Delhi, Ladakh, wow. Great, great, great. Madhya Pradesh, Patna, Odisha. Wow, so good to see you guys. Varanasi. Oh my god, Kerala. Lucknow. Fantastic. Right, so I think now we can start the session, guys. So just give me a second. Well, good morning, guys. I'm Kunal. I'm a commercial product photographer specializing in drinks and cosmetics. With an experience of over 11 years working with brands and ad agencies across the globe, where my photos have been used in magazines like Elle, Vogue, Cosmopolitan, on shopping malls, retail stores, hoardings, basically anywhere and everywhere you can find product photography out in the world. All right. So let's start with understanding what exactly is commercial photography, right? And before that, guys, if you have any purchase related query, then you can contact Nikon at the email that I have pinned in the comments, right? So let's understand what exactly is commercial photography. Right. So, see guys, in a nutshell, when you shoot for a brand where your photos are used to promote their products through advertising campaign is commercial photography. Or in simple words, I can say that whenever you shoot for a business or a brand rather than shooting for an individual, it's commercial photography, right? And broadly speaking, there are two ways to go about it. First is where you can shoot directly with the brand, and in this case, you get in touch with the marketing team of the brand and you will plan the concept yourself and do the shoot and so on. And the other way is where you collaborate with an ad agency, which in turn works for a brand. And in this case, the ad agency plans out the entire campaign and you as a photographer have to replicate or bring their brief to reality. Okay, so these are broadly two ways to go about it. Now let's get to pricing. So just give me a second. Right. So, how much do product photographers charge? And I wanted to talk about this topic because, when I started in 2010, I left my software job and a very lucrative career opportunity to pursue photography. And, at that time, nobody was willing to give out this information. And I had no idea how much product photographers charge and whether I'll be able to make a living in photography or not. But all I knew was that I really love photography and I wanted to do it at any cost. So just to give you guys a reference, a little idea. So I'll share some numbers here. But before that, let me tell you that, pricing can vary a lot from project to project and from photographers to photographers. So it depends on a lot of variables. But just so you have an idea, if you are planning to get into commercial photography, so broadly speaking, with my experience, I've seen that photographers can be in three main categories, right? The first is the beginners. So let's say if you're just starting out and you have a fantastic portfolio, at that point you can charge anywhere around 1 lakh or so for a small project. Then the second category is, let's say, if you are really experienced photographer and you have done lots of commercial campaigns where your photos are used in magazines, on hoardings, on websites, social media, you know how to work with a team, you know how to handle big productions, you have a good rapport in this circle of advertising, with the brands and the ad agencies. People know you by your name, and you are able to deliver the results every single time as per the brief. So photographers in this category can charge anywhere between 5 lakhs to 25 lakhs or more for a project. And then comes the third category, which is, when photographers are at the top of their games, the master of the masters. So these are the guys who are really, really good at their work, and basically they can charge anything that they want, right? So, and just to give you a number, photographers in that category can charge anywhere from 20 lakhs to 40 lakhs a day or more for a shoot, right? So, of course, product photography is very lucrative, but at the same time, you have to work really, really hard. You have to be really, really good at what you do. Your skill set has to be very strong, and you have to work really hard to get into this space where photographers can charge this kind of money. And thirdly, of course, you need to be really passionate about photography. Okay? It's not like you say that अगर photography में कुछ नहीं हुआ तो कुछ और काम कर लेंगे. If you come with this attitude, then it will be very difficult to make it big in commercial photography. So, but I always say that if you have the passion and the will, then nothing can stop you, right? So let's get to the scope, guys. Right. So what is the scope of product photography? And I think I don't even have to tell you this because let's say if you just pick up a newspaper or a magazine at your home, you will see so many product images. You go out on the streets, you will see so many product photos on the hoardings, on the banners. You go to a shopping mall, in every single store, you will find so many product images. You go to the airports, go to the duty-free section, you will see so many cosmetics and drinks images. So product photography is everywhere. And Instagram, guys, you go to any brand's Instagram and all you will see is product images. So the scope is huge. There's a huge demand for product photography. And basically there are three main categories, as you can see. So the first is the ad campaigns. Okay, so ad campaigns is when, let's say, a brand comes up with a new product. So it's a new product launch, or it's a seasonal campaign like a summer campaign, Diwali campaign, Christmas campaign, or things like that. So these are the ad campaigns which are the big shoots with big money, right? And brands do it, let's say, monthly or quarterly or something like that, right? The next category is social media, of course. So these days, everybody is moving more and more towards the digital side, especially on Instagram. So brands need a lot of photos on a regular basis, right? To post it every single day. They need a lot of photos. So social media is one. And the third, of course, is e-commerce. Because no matter what, every single brand need photos of their products on white backgrounds. Okay, they have to use it on their websites, catalogs, and so many other places. So definitely there is a huge scope in product photography. And if you ask me, the best time to be a product photographer is now, right? So let's move on to the photos section. And guys, if you have any questions, please drop it in the question box. If you see at the bottom, right, you see a question mark. Please drop your questions there. And I'll have to switch off the comments for now so you can see the photos clearly. And once later in the session, I'll take up all your questions and we'll talk about it, right? So I'll switch off the comments for now. And let me open up my first photo here. Right. So guys, product photography, right? If you look at this photo, instantly as a viewer, when I see this, I go, oh man, I want to have this chilled beer right now. Okay. So this is what a product photography has to do to you. Like let's say if you consider weddings, wedding photography, portrait photography, fashion photography, in these things, you can show the emotions in the photo. Let's say if a bride is smiling or have tears in eyes, you can capture those things, those emotions in a photo. But what do you do for products? So your product images have to create emotions in the viewer. So as I said, when I look at this photo, the viewer should go, I want to have this beer right now, or I want to buy this product right now. Okay, so that is the emotion you have to create in the viewer, right? And just to give you a real world example, what happened last week? My wife wanted a perfume. So we went to this store called Sephora and we were just checking out all the perfumes from various different brands there. And I came across this really beautiful, refreshing photo of a perfume from a brand. And that photo really caught my attention, And looking at the photo, I said, let's try out this perfume. And we tried it, we loved it, and we ended up buying the product. So that's the power of product photography. That I just looked at a photo, got attracted towards a product, and ended up buying it. Okay? So that is commercial photography. And now if you look at the technical side of this photo, you will see that, it's all about the details, guys, I spend a lot of time on every single detail to make these photos look heroic and really beautiful, right? So if you see here, you'll see the beer bottle has all those ice specks. It has the condensation droplets and the beer in the glass is nice and fresh. You can see the bubbles rising and you have a perfectly round beer head, right? So a lot of work goes into creating photos like these. And let me just show you some behind the scenes from this shoot. So just give me a second. Right, and there you see, guys. So here I am applying the ice powder or the ice picks on the bottle. And this part is called as styling, So before the shoot, you have to prepare the products. And I spend a lot of time in doing this, where it has to look just right. And at times, let's say if you're not able to do this, then you also work with a stylist. Okay. Right. So, and you see how carefully I'm doing this because I'm concerned about each and every aspect. It's all about the detail, guys. So let me show you another one from the same shoot. So here I'm making this nice beer head. Now there are various ways to do this. I also use a chopstick, a wooden chopstick that has a certain enzyme which reacts with beer to create a beautiful, nice beer head and to bring the beer back to life. So I mean there are various different ways to do this. Here I'm just trying to pour beer in a simple way to create a beer head, nice and round, straight in the camera. And let me show you another one from the same shoot. Right? So guys, here if you see, I'm holding a chopstick in hand and I'm stirring the beer with chopstick so that it reacts with the beer and creates this nice fizz. Okay, bringing back beer to life to capture those bubbles. Okay, to make it look really refreshing and nice. Right? So let's see some more photos. And this one, guys, this photo also has a very interesting story. So first let's talk about this and then I'll get to the story part. So, in reality, this product is this small, okay? And just look at the lighting on the reflective parts, on the chrome parts. The lighting is so detailed and so precise. So imagine the lighting set. So I have to be really, really precise with the lighting and control the highlights and shadows really carefully. And this is what I love about product photography because I love sculpting the products with light, right? So what happened in this shoot was, guys, that I was doing a campaign for this brand where we had to create a series of images and there was a big ad agency involved. So we had done the shoot, everything was over. And after the shoot, we had planned a Europe trip. So me and my wife, we were to go on a vacation. And so let's say that tomorrow early morning we have a flight. And today I get a call from this brand that Kunal, we need one photo on a very urgent basis, which has to go in Elle magazine. And I said, but there is no concept, there is no planning. I don't have the products, and I have to catch my flight tomorrow early morning, and I'll be gone for 2 weeks or more. So this was the case, and the brand said that, but it's very urgent. And I realized that a lot of money was at stake, so I just can't say no. I had to, so I said, okay, we'll do it. We'll figure it out. So then they sent me a prototype of this bottle, and a prototype means a pre-production bottle which didn't have any logo on the bottle, an empty bottle with a lot of scratches, and they sent me some loose liquid foundation. So then and there, we sat down with the agency and the brand. We finalized the concepts, and I did the shoot, and we created 2 photos. And by the way, guys, sometimes it can take an entire day to create one detailed image, right? And on that day, I created basically 2 photos of the same product in the same composition, one against a black background and once against a white background. And I delivered those photos to the brand. I was awake the whole night, and the next morning we left. So I'll just show you how this image was done and where it was used. So this is a little behind the scenes of me capturing the liquid part. So of course it's a composite where I shot the bottle and the applicator together first in one image, and then in this shot I'm just shooting the liquid drip, right? It was a crazy shoot. And then finally, as they said, this photo ended up coming in Elle magazine. So, guys, these are crazy situations, and that was my one and only experience like that. So let's move on to the next shot. Right. So, guys, again, when you look at this photo, instantly you will know that this is a shower gel, orange flavor, right? You see water interacting with the product, there's splash, it looks so refreshing, and it looks like it's a luxury product. So as a product photographer, I have to make the products look their best, okay? Shoot the products in their best light, right? So if you see here the details, the bottle is interacting with the water, it has a nice splash, very refreshing oranges, and a nice glow in the bottle, and the branding is crystal clear, okay? So even though there's this liquid splash interacting with the bottle, but you still see the branding clearly, and that is what the brand wants. They want to show their products in the best possible light. So let me just show you the behind the scenes of this photo. Right, guys, so here you see me pouring water on this set. And so basically, I have shot it in 2 photos. The first shot was with a clean background, and the another shot was with this water splash. So in post, I could easily remove these flex arms because I had a clean background earlier. So let's move on to the next shot. Right, and again, if you see here, it's not like you use splashes anywhere and everywhere. It has to make some sense. There has to be a logic behind it. So if you see, look at this product, it says moisture surge 72-hour auto replenishing hydrator. So it has everything to do with hydration, right? And that's the reason you see this nice water splash interacting with the product. And again, technically speaking, if you look at this product, everything is shot in camera. All the gradients, the reflections, highlights, the styling, everything is done in real time in camera, shot in different parts. Shot in plates and then combined together in post. So it's a composite. But if you look at the cream, the swirl has been styled in real, okay? And it takes a lot of time to get a nice swirl in a cream. So let me show you some behind the scenes from this shoot. Right. So guys, there you see I'm shooting just the cream jar, okay, with the swirl, with a nice swirl. And then I'll show you another one from the same shoot. Right, so here I'm just shooting the interaction of water splash with the cap. Okay, that's all I'm doing here. So this is how I break down the photo into parts, shoot them part by part in plates, and then combine those parts together in post. Okay, so everything is shot in real time in camera and combined in post. Now let's look at another photo. So again, guys, if you see, I mean, this is a whiskey shot and there's a lot of drama going on here, right? So if you look at the bottle, and especially this was a challenge because this is a green bottle, right? So when the bottle is green in color, it becomes quite a challenge to balance the amber glow of whiskey and the green color of the bottle. You know, if I light the whiskey inside, the whole bottle will become amber, you know, golden. And these are the creative decisions that you have to take with the ad agency or the client. And so for this particular shot, we decided to, you know, have a nice balance between the two. So although you see a glow in the whiskey, but at the same time, you know that the bottle is green in color. Okay. And again, guys, it's all about the details. So if you see the etching on the bottle is visible. Now, I'm sure you can't see that clearly on this tiny little screen on Instagram Live. But if you go on my Instagram and see it on a big screen, you'll see. The etching on the glass surface is clearly visible. The branding is clearly visible. Wherever there is a reflective part, like the logo, there's a gradient which shows that the logo is reflective. And there's a nice, beautiful glow in the whiskey. Okay, so if you look at the glass, I mean, it looks so good. Like I want to have whiskey right now. Okay, I want to pick up the glass and have it right now. So that's the whole goal of product photography, right? And the bottle. Let me just show you some behind the scenes from this set. So the bottle is hung using a metal wire there. And here you see me pouring whiskey in the glass using a chopstick. And I'm doing it because I'm very careful while pouring the whiskey because I don't want the liquid to spill on the walls of the glass, right? I want to do as much as possible in camera to avoid doing things in post, right? I like to keep my post processing very simple. And of course, I'm wearing gloves to avoid fingerprints. So let's look at another one from the same shoot. And so basically this was a 5-light set. So you see 2 lights up there with a grid. There's one strip box behind a diffusion roll. One light is at the floor pointing up at the bottle to light the base, and there's another light which is not visible in this shot. But yeah, I mean my sets can run anywhere between 4 to 5 lights. Otherwise, I like to keep things very simple. At times, I have shot with just 1 or 2 lights as well. So let's move on to the next shot, guys. Right. So this was another shot from the same brand in the same ad campaign. And again, if you look here, it's all about the details. The branding is clear. The text on the box is clear. On the whiskey bottle, it's clear. There's a nice glow in the glass. There's a nice glow in the whiskey bottle. And all these things are creative decisions, okay, which the brand takes or the ad agency takes. So we as photographers, we just have to convert their idea, their vision into reality. Okay. So, and I'll just show you some behind the scenes from this one, some interesting things. So if you see here, whenever possible, I always prefer having the bottles and the labels separately because I like to put the labels by hand. Okay, to put it very precisely, perfectly. Because when you get these bottles, the labels are put in a factory by machine. So sometimes the labels are not perfectly aligned, right? So I always prefer putting it by hand, perfectly aligned, to reduce my work in post, right? And I think we have some more from this shoot. Yeah. So guys, here you see me arranging very carefully these ice cubes. Now, I have a set of these acrylic ice cubes, artificial ice cubes, and every ice cube has a different shape. Okay. So first I need to pick up the right pieces and then arrange it very carefully in the glass, and this is called styling, to make it look beautiful from the camera angle. Okay, so I take my time, or the stylist takes his or her time to make this setup look really beautiful and nice for the camera. Okay, and again I'm pouring whiskey, this time without a chopstick, but very carefully, so as to not to spill any liquid droplets on the glass. Okay, so moving on to the next shot, and again a very interesting project, guys. So this the concept for this shot was that this is liquid lipstick with a comforting factor. So comforting means that it can be applied you can wear it for a day, for an entire day, right? So comfort was their main thing that they needed to convey to the viewers, and of course it's a liquid lipstick. So we came up with this concept where the liquid lipstick is shot underwater with this ink flowing in the background, nice, soft, cushy, wrapping around the product, showing comfort. So, and the challenge in this shoot was that if you see, the lipstick is red color and the liquid in the background is also red. So we wanted to make this product really stand out against red color. So red product standing out against red color. So that was a challenge, and I'll show you the behind the scenes in a minute. But the thing that we did was, so I first shot the liquid lipstick underwater with the paint interacting with the lipstick, and then I shot the lipstick separately with nicely done edges. So if you see, the edges have nice highlights, and this is called rim lighting. So again the product was lit so beautifully and shot underwater with the lipstick, with the liquid paint, okay, and then later combined in post. So I'll show you some behind the scenes from this shoot as well. So here you see me pouring liquid paint in the glass aquarium, and the lipstick is underwater, and here I'm just capturing the interactions of the product with the liquid. Okay, I'm capturing all the interaction parts. And let's get to another one, another BTS from the same shoot. And guys, this was the set just to shoot that lipstick separately. So if you see carefully, you see the liquid lipstick, the product hanging from a metal wire, and then of course this is the lighting set. And the important thing, the thing to solve the challenge is that I've used a strip box that you see here, which is blocked by a black background. And if you use this light in this way, you'll get nice rim lighting on the edges of the product. So guys, this is what I love about product photography, to solve problems by lighting, right? And of course, there are other lights. If you see one grid in the front, that is there to light the label. Another light is a strip box behind the diffusion roll to have a nice highlight going on from the top of the product to the bottom on one of the sides, and the other side you see a reflector, right? So let's move on to the next photo. Right, and again, if you look at this product, first of all, it is the camera is looking up at the product, right? So this angle makes the product look really heroic, big and larger than life, right? And here, the challenge was, if you look carefully, the liquid is blue, right? And there's another liquid inside the red thing, inside the bottle. So it was very difficult to slide the red part through a blue liquid, because the blue color was so dense that I was not able to see the red color clearly. So to solve this challenge, what I did was I diluted the blue liquid. So it is a 50-50 ratio. I mixed 50% water in this, which then made it possible to see the red part inside, right? And of course, let me just show you some behind the scenes from this one, so you'll have a better idea. So this is how I'm keeping the glass beside the product. And if you see there are condensation droplets on the glass, and how I achieved that, how I achieved a realistic look was by holding this glass panel on top of boiling water, right? So, there are no rules whatsoever. You can do anything that you want to achieve the results, okay? So let me show you the lighting setup for this one. So again, I'm using, I think, four lights here. And I think I also have a small time lapse, which I can show you guys here. Yeah, there you go. So I always, whenever I'm building my lighting set, I always do it one light at a time. So I'll put one light, see what that light is doing, perfect it, then add another light, then see what these two lights are doing together. Then add the third light and then see what all these three lights are doing together. Okay. So I always prefer building my lighting sets one light at a time. Right. So let's move on to the next photo. And guys, if you're enjoying this BTS and enjoying this session, then show me some love. Tap on the hearts below and let me know. Right. So this is another shoot, another beer shot. So again, if you look at the photo, you will see a lot of details, right? The condensation droplets on the bottles are of different sizes, so it looks real. The beer is live. You see this nice fizz inside the beer bubbles. The beer head is perfect, okay? So again, I use a chopstick to make this perfect beer head in the photo. And the concept of this shot was grab your bud. People like to drink together, and there's a concept of sociability associated. So in this photo, it's like a guy is picking up the bottle, and that motion is shown by the light trails. So these light trails that you see here on the bottle, which is moving up, these light trails were captured in real time in camera. So basically, I used a mix of flash and continuous light for this one. So let me just show you that. Right, so this is one of the BTS shots. You will see all the lights that I'm using here. There's a strip box with a diffusion, beauty dish on the top to get a nice glow inside the bottle. And another, again, grids or two with the diffusion paper in front. So let me show you another angle from the same shoot. And guys, here you can see, if you see a nice glowing light in the background, that's continuous light. So I'm using a mix of flash and continuous light here to capture the trails in real time in camera. Right, so let's move on to the next photo. Right, so again, another beer bottle, and the Instagram live screen is so small and I can't zoom in the photos to show you the details. But the liquid splashes that you see here are highly detailed, very nice and crisp. The ice looks very nice and crisp. And there's nice condensation on the beer bottle as well. Now, if you look at this photo, of course, in reality, if you submerge a bottle inside water, you won't see any condensation. But in advertising, you need to do certain things to make the product look really appetizing, right? So to add that appetizing cool factor, I shot the bottle separately with condensation and then combined it in post. But every single part is shot in real time in camera. Okay. So let me just show you the behind the scenes of this shot. And firstly, here you can see that the bottle is in a glass aquarium, in a glass tank. And I've hung the bottle using a metal wire. And of course, guys, if you see here, I'm using a speed light to get those splashes, nice crisp splashes, and then I'm using my Elle chrome lights to light the bottle. And why I do so? Because the Elle chromes can't freeze high-speed liquid in action. So let me show you another BTS from the same shoot. Right, so there you can see, guys. So I'm using, I think, 4 lights here, and one is a strip box on the top, and rest all of the lights are having grids in front. And let me show you the same from another angle. Let's take this one. Right, so again, you can see how the product is lit in 2 different ways. One for the splash with the speed lights, and another just the bottle outside of the tank, and I don't have those BTS guys, but I also shot the bottle outside of the tank with the condensation droplets, right? So let's move on to another photo, and then very soon we can move on to your Q&A session. Right. So this one, guys, this is a very interesting look, and if you see carefully, you'll observe that this setup is shot from a top angle. The camera is looking down at the product, and in that situation, let's say if I focus on the label which says Gentleman Jack, if I focus on that point, everything below that area would be out of focus, right? But here I'm using a tilt shift lens. So if you look carefully, the entire face of the bottle is in tack focus. You see the label very clearly, it's sharp. You see the glass etching on the bottle which is sharp, which says Jack Daniels. And the label at the bottom is also tack sharp. So by using a tilt shift lens, I was able to achieve this result, which is a very unique look. And I love this, and this is my style of working. Okay, so how I did it was I'm using the tilt feature. So let's say this is the product and here's the camera. So I tilted the lens like this, okay, to make the focal plane parallel to the bottle so that I have the entire face in focus, right? So this is it, guys. I mean, I love everything about product photography, the challenges involved, the lighting, and it gets me so excited to get in my studio and start creating these product images, right? So guys, let's now move on to the Q&A session, and I'll just put it back in a different mode. Just give me a second. Right. So there we have it, guys. Let me know your questions. Let me see what all questions you have. How to professionally learn product photography. Okay, guys. So good to see so many questions. Let me just cover them up. So Lisbon is asking how to professionally learn product photography. So guys, I mean, for me, I didn't go to any photography school. I didn't assist any photographer. So basically, I learned by and large by experimenting with light. And of course, there's a lot of content available online. When I started, there was it was very difficult to find something related to product photography. But how I learned photography, and I think it's one of the best ways, is look at the photo that you love, okay? And then think about the lighting that the photographer might have used, and then experiment with lights. Okay, experiment using different light sources and try to replicate the result in the photo. This is how you will really understand light. And of course, I mean, there's so much content available. I keep sharing a lot of things on my Instagram. I keep doing a lot of workshops where I teach product photography from the beginning. So of course, I mean, you're most welcome to join those sessions. Then Sanal asks, what about lighting and the mood of photos? I mean, of course, the lighting and the mood depends on the brief. So when you're doing commercial photography, it's not that you can create a photo which you like. Okay, you have to replicate the brief that you get from the ad agency or the brands. So they will decide the mood, and you just as a technician, you have to replicate that mood in the photos. So of course, I mean, it's a very detailed thing, and we can cover up lighting in the upcoming sessions. So you use various different light modifiers to create different moods in a photo, right? And then someone is asking if Z50 is best for videography. Guys, if you're looking for a camera, I would say that for product photography or for commercial product photography, a full frame camera is really good. And if you look at the Nikon Z series, all the full frame cameras are fantastic for product photography. And if you want a detailed discussion on this, then I have recently released a video on my YouTube discussing these cameras and all the nice mirrorless features like the EVF and a lot of other things like USB power delivery and things like that. Otherwise, any full frame camera is good for product photography. So another question is how to start after making a portfolio. Right, guys, so the very first thing is to start in commercial world is to have a very strong, beautiful, fantastic set of images. That's your portfolio, right? So you have to really polish up your skills and build a nice, good portfolio to stand out from the crowd. And once you have this portfolio ready, then it's time to put it in front of people that matter. You have to show this portfolio to the ad agencies, to the brands. So for example, you will be calling up lots of ad agencies, fix a meeting with them, write a lot of emails, send in your work to people in the marketing team of these brands. So what I did was I did some research and found out the brands that were doing the kind of work that I want to do. Okay, once I shortlisted those brands, then I started getting in touch with these brands, the marketing team of the brands, on emails, on calls, fixing meetings with them. I met a lot of people, pitched my work, show my work, how my work can add value to their existing set of campaigns. And marketing, you have to be always on. Okay, you have to put your work out there. These days, Instagram is also a good place to show your work. And on Instagram, guys, please remember that it doesn't matter how many followers you have. Okay, what matters is what kind of circle you have on Instagram, what kind of followers you have, right? You have to be in touch with the right people in the industry. Okay, so it doesn't matter if you have thousands of followers or lakhs of followers, but what matters is, are you in touch with the right people or not? So again, let me see, guys, more questions. So someone is asking, I think Sagar is asking, model with jewelry. It's also part of product photography. So guys, of course, a lot of the times you'll see that products are used with models. Okay, but let's say if a model is wearing a jewelry, then I wouldn't say that it's a part of product photography. The fashion photographer also shoots that part of jewelry. Or it's at times it can be a composite where a model is wearing a jewelry or wearing a watch or something, and then the product is shot separately by a product photographer, which later can be composited in post. So we have done some shoots where where a model was holding an enlarged version of lipstick in hand, a surreal version, and then that lipstick was shot separately and composited in post later on. So of course, there will be times when a single shoot will require two photographers. One is a fashion photographer, another is a product photographer. So the fashion photographer will shoot the models and the product photographer will shoot the products. And then the ad agency will use both these images together to create various ads for the campaign. So, okay, so what is a good lens for product photography? So I would say that, guys, if you're just starting out, there's only one lens that you need to buy, which is the 105 macro. Okay, this 105 macro lens can do a lot of things for you, and I use this lens for years. Right now I'm using, for most of my work, I use the 85mm tilt shift lens along with the 105 lens as well. And if you can't go for a 105 macro right now, then even a 50mm is good enough. So if you're just starting out, 50mm lens is pretty affordable and you can do a lot of things with 50mm, right? But otherwise, when you think of expanding your lenses, then you can go for a 35, 50, 85, 105, that's it. Right, guys, and also you're asking how to get clients initially. And guys, it's the same thing as I said, you have to be very active on the marketing front. You have to put in a lot of efforts and it's a lot of hard work first. But even before approaching the clients, the first thing is to have a really good portfolio, because these brands, these ad agencies are receiving hundreds of emails every day and rubbish work, So they don't want to reply back to every single photographer with average quality work, So make sure that first of all, your portfolio is very strong. Your images are so good that the brands are willing to take you on board for their campaigns. Okay. Or, I get this question a lot of the times. People ask that, we're just starting out. What is the easiest way to make money? in product photography. And I say that the easiest part is that you start with the bulk photography, okay, which is for the e-commerce and the social media, which social media posts which brand needs on a regular basis, like on Instagram. So, this is relatively easier to shoot because the e-commerce work, you need to shoot products against a white background, or for social media work, which is in bulk, you just need to create simple concepts. And even if you do this kind of work, you can make really good money. So I always say that for e-commerce or for bulk work, approach bigger clients and do small jobs for them in the beginning. Okay, big clients, but small jobs for them in the beginning. So that is how you can command a good price for your e-commerce work as well. And if you look at the bulk shoot, let's say you get 50 products, and if you have figured out a way to shoot those 50 products in a day, then in a day you can make really good money, right? And let me see, guys. Then people are asking, okay, DSLRs and mirrorless. So, guys, I very recently shifted to a mirrorless body, which is Nikon Z9. And ever since I did so, I'm loving all the mirrorless features, okay? The first thing is that the electronic viewfinder is so good, because when I was using my DSLRs with the optical viewfinder, and I always shoot tethered, right? So the camera is connected to the monitor and it's tethered. So when I was doing these shoots, to focus it on a very small point on a product, I needed to remove the tethering connection, switch on the live view, zoom in, and then use manual focus to set the focus precisely. So it took some time. But with the EVF, in the viewfinder, you can simply zoom in on the image and choose your focus, do your focus very precisely using manual focus, right? And there are various other advantages, like the USB power delivery is very good, because for me, especially for product photographers, once the camera is on the set, I don't want that camera to move at all, okay? Because I do a lot of compositing work. So earlier I used to, very gently remove the battery and replace it with a new one without disturbing the camera at all. But now with the mirrorless bodies, you get this option of USB power delivery, where the monitor can supply continuous power to the camera using the same cable which was used for tethering, right? So it's fantastic. So Brian is asking what exactly you should have in your portfolio. So guys, for portfolio, I would recommend that, for me, what has worked for me, I can share that. So I think it's better to be a master of one instead of being a jack of all trades, right? So in your portfolio, be very specific in the area that you specialize in. Don't just show your portfolio which has some landscapes, some weddings, some events, some nature, some product, some parties, some fashion. So don't do that. Don't mix all of that together, right? So pick a subject that you really love and care about, and develop your skill set for that particular thing. And your portfolio should speak the same. So the moment you show your portfolio to someone, he should be able to say that, okay, this guy is a product photographer who specializes in drinks and cosmetics. It has to be that precise, okay? And when you do that, then over a period of time, if your work is good, then you'll automatically stand out from the crowd, right? So people are asking whether this recording will be available in it. Yes, of course, guys. We'll save this recording on the Nikon feed as a post, so you can watch it later as well. Wow, so many questions. Okay. Okay, so Milan asks me that in the gentleman jack in product photo shoot, is it really necessary to bring the entire product in frame or close up? So Milan, it is a creative call which is taken by the ad agency or the brand. So as I mentioned earlier, as a commercial photographer, you just need to do what the brief says. So if the brief says that it has to be a close up, then it has to be a close up. Okay. So the final word lies with the client. Okay, so I see a lot of questions on how to reach out to agencies for the first time and marketing. So guys, if you're interested in these things, then I have my YouTube channel where I make these videos on a regular basis, and I share a lot of information of about how to get your first client, how to make a portfolio, how to do your marketing and things like that. So you're most welcome to check out my YouTube channel, and you'll get answers to all these questions. Okay, the another question is how to use color theory in product photography. So, of course, guys, I mean, color is very important in products because when you do commercial photography, it's not art photography, it's commercial photography where you have to show the real products, the real colors, right? So, you have to show the real colors to the viewers. And for that, I mean, there are various tools available, like there's a color checker data card, which you can keep it in the frame to get beautiful, precise colors. But what I do is, over years, I have trained my eyes to pick up the right color from the camera just by using the right white balance. Okay. So depending on the lights I'm using, I know what kind of white balance I need to put on. And whenever I always shoot tethered to capture one. And the colors that you get in capture one are phenomenal. The colors that you get out of your Nikon cameras are beautiful. So once your camera is connected to capture one, the colors that you see there are really good. So there's a way to preserve those colors. And what I do is I open up the raw files as a PSD in Photoshop directly from capture one. So this way I retain all the colors that I see on capture one files, that those colors are moved on to Photoshop. And from there I can do my post-processing. Okay. Let's see some more questions. So, okay. So many questions, okay. Also, okay, so which software works best for post-processing? Of course, guys, it's Photoshop. So, I use Capture One along with Photoshop. Capture One for the tethering part and to do small adjustments. And then, of course, the big things are done in Photoshop. Okay, and people are asking, any chance of you visiting India in the near future to conduct workshops in person? Of course, guys. I mean, let's say in my next visit to India, we'll plan out something with Nikon, for sure. And guys, drop in your questions. I'm looking at all your questions. So good to see them here. Okay, so again, Milan asks, how do you manage to keep your small props stable? So, guys, when you do the styling bit, okay, before any shoot, there are so many ways to keep the product stable. I mean, there's no set thing that you have to do this, anything. So we use like wires, we use small clips, we use dental wax. Dental wax is really good to hold the product in place, So if the product is really small and you have to put it at an angle, you can use dental wax. So dental wax, then fishing line. Also at times I use fishing line because that is transparent. It allows the light to pass through and it is very strong. So, I mean, there are no rules for that. You can use anything that you want to keep your product stable, right? So let's take a few more questions. So can we do product photography in any Nikon model? Of course, like I've been using Nikon cameras since the very beginning. Since 2010, I'm using Nikon, and of course, Nikon cameras, especially the full frame bodies, are really good for product photography. Okay. So okay, he's asking what has been used as a background in the shower gel photo. So in that photo, guys, the background is a simple diffusion roll. It's a sheet of diffusion roll. that I'm lighting it from the back to give it a nice glow in the background, right? So guys, I think it's almost time, and before the session cuts off, a big thanks to Nikon for hosting this live session. And guys, after this session, this recording will be posted on Nikon's feed as a post. So if you have any further questions, just comment below on the post and let's keep this conversation going down there. And I'll respond back personally to all of those questions, right? So there you have it, guys. Have a fantastic week ahead, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Bye.